Hello, Fran, and congratulations again for being
Hello,
selected.
Miss Tezekiah. Thank you so much.
Let's begin with you sharing your name, your location, where you live, and where you work.
My name is Fran Tarr. I live in Manhattan, New York, USA, and I work at Breaking Walls International Youth Empowerment through the Arts organization.
Yes. So your work is international, Fran, and specifically with youth.
Yes, specifically with youth. Now, when we say that, it's a broad parentheses. Young people ages 11 through 27, 28. We've even had individuals in their early 30s who have participated in our workshops as artists. We always refer to our young people as artists.
Beautiful.
Even the first time that they join us, even if it's just a 90-minute workshop in a school, a one-off, we're still like, you're a Breaking Walls artist. We almost always have one of our either US-based artists or someone from our international community come and do a quick welcome via Zoom so that they know that, they're part of something bigger than, themselves.
Exactly. So tell us a little more about your work and what difference it makes. And if you have a story to share, that would be wonderful.
Stories I got. Stories I got. Um, when I would like to congratulate the leadership board, the leadership team, on the very provocative questions that you provided. I said to one of my friends, this is one of the most difficult things I've ever done because on the application and on this, because I couldn't talk about breaking walls.
Uh-huh.
I had to talk about myself in the first person.
Yes.
That's not always easy. Okay, that being said, our work, I believe, deeply, our vision and the young people that are involved are necessary building blocks for peace and acceptance. And our mantra covers that completely because our mantra is connect, create, change. And if you say it quickly enough, it's a complete sentence.
Uh-huh.
Connect. So we've got these young people, 11 to 27, 28. They come from diverse backgrounds, religions, socioeconomic, culturally. That's pretty standard. But in our case, we reach out to young people who have different educational levels, sexual identity. They're dealing with intergenerational trauma, immigration issues, refugee status, disabilities. We've had young people on the autism spectrum. We've had young people who were in wheelchairs, young people who are identified with Down syndrome. All of them have participated successfully, whether that's here in the US or international. So there is this broad spectrum. And the thing is, that diversity and that spectrum puts these young people in a very vulnerable spot for what is termed voice poverty. Now, there's scholars who have identified that, and I've got the research on it. But essentially what it means is they've been denied access to opportunities and advocacy because of who they are and where they live. And even when they try to speak up, they're under overlooked and sometimes even, like disconnected, like we're not listening to you. And in addition to not having advocacy and opportunities, there's also that creates the denial of dignity, hope, and trust. And they come to Breaking Walls, and through our connecting activities, they bond. Whether it's meditation or some goofy but intentional theater game, And as Kanan said at our first summit in 2012, you know, we're beginning to feel like a family. I was surprised. He said, we've got brothers and sisters, cousins, aunties and uncles. And that has only grown over the 15 years up to the, the 5,000 plus people that we've worked with over in all these different places. Okay, that's connecting, which is super important for being able to feel like you're in a safe, healing space. Then you start creating. And the basis of that, it pushes back against voice poverty, absolutely. But it also gives you the opportunity to share your story. And through the sharing of the individual stories of the artists, whether it's 4 kids in a ESL class in Queens or 40 kids at an international summit, they all get the chance to have their voices heard individually. And then this understanding comes. Oh, wait a minute. We're celebrating the things we share in common while we explore the things that make us unique. And so what a beautiful opportunity. And then you take that writing, transform, and start to add songs, spoken word and dance and visual arts and all of this. And it combines into a devised theater performance that validates who you are and is heard by people everywhere. And you also get that, like, I'm an individual voice. Now I'm part of a unified chord, and damn it, I made it on stage. We're not taking kids from, like LaGuardia, no offense, but anyway, they're generally not theater oriented students, and they come to us and then they have this experience and they're all, and then there's change.
Yes.
And you can't help but walk out of this kind of experience where you've collaborated and you've connected and you've had this, the exhilaration of being on stage and this validation of who you are and what you have to say, and teamwork, like one for all and all for one. We did it together. It didn't matter that I'm from Cape Town and I live in a township and you're from Berlin and your father is, a diplomat, those things are irrelevant. We came together as a unified team, a unified voice, respecting our individual strengths and weaknesses. And a story. I looked through all my stories, they're in my head, and I decided to share about Egypt Murphy-Smith. Egypt Murphy-Smith joined Breaking Walls in 2015 for our Barcelona summit. Egypt at the time was a sophomore, just finishing her sophomore years at a failing school in Brooklyn. The school was really struggling. The principal was thrilled to have Breaking Walls as an opportunity for her students. Egypt's backstory is that she had been in foster care for many, many years, waiting for her parents who promised they would come, but didn't. Finally, she was rescued by her auntie, and her life was turning around. And she got to Barcelona, and she wrote this extraordinary piece about that experience and shared it for the audience, some of whom did speak English, some did not. It didn't matter. When the performance ended, she was swarmed by people who felt the passion and the pain. And it just this extraordinary moment that, she'll carry with her, that we carry with us, that those people carry with them, and she will carry with her for the rest of her life. In 2018, she traveled with us. 2017, she traveled. She went. Next part of the story is 2017. She's now graduated from high school. She's gotten her first job at M&M's store in New York. And we're starting to write our peace and tolerance. We call it our peace and tolerance statement. She stood up and she said, "Why are we calling it peace and tolerance? Do we just want to be tolerated? I think we want to be accepted, don't we?" And the kids are all like, "Yeah," the artists are like, "Yeah." So we change it. It's now the peace and acceptance statement, of course. And her leadership is developed. 2019, we add our first creative activist lab. And we ask everyone to come up with something they can do within their own community to empower those around them and make an impact. And Egypt got the Brooklyn delegation to create what we call Egypt's Pledge, where no matter where you go to school within the Brooklyn delegation, whether it's a university or a high school or even maybe a middle school, when you see someone eating lunch alone, you will go and join and hopefully take your friends so that there's nobody eating alone because unless they choose to, do you know what I'm saying? And she created what's called the Egypt Pledge, and every delegation signed it. And so every year we bring that up just as a reminder that this is the direction and the focus of breaking walls. So that was
beautiful. 2019,
and she's still involved. She's still involved, even though she's expecting her second baby any minute. Doing speaking for us at fundraisers, and she was supposed to go with us to the summit had we raised the money to go, but she got this beautiful surprise of a new baby.
Yes.
So that's one of my stories. That's what we do.
Great.
We are connect, create, change. How is this going to change the world?
Yes.
What is its bigger impact? Clearly, there's the personal and the interpersonal. I'm shocked. We had a meeting, I think it was just recently, we had a meeting, a community meeting. And one of the students shared that he had been in, one of the artists shared that he had been in contact with someone that I haven't been in contact with. That they have this like support system that goes back and forth. So there's the personal, there's the networking support. Clearly Egypt's story indicates that there is a changing of, within their communities. Many people will say to me, well, there's all this focus on art as a vehicle for change and transformation. How many of your young people are going on to like Juilliard, ACT in San Francisco, ATC in San Francisco? And I'll say, well, one of our girls went to Pratt as a filmmaker, but mostly they're getting their degrees in international law. And they're working for consulates. One of our young men from the Warsaw delegation is an associate counselor at the Polish embassy in London. One of our young women from the 2012 summit, a young German woman, Merva, she's at the United Nations directing the funds for the United Nations funding program. And she has this huge portfolio of countries that she looked at. So there's that. But more importantly, I think, is that we have a model that can be replicated.
Yes.
It can be replicated. And I see it within especially the lab school and Harlem Renaissance Academy that we work with consistently here in New York, where our young people, they're like, I'm a Breaking Walls artist. Oh yeah, I remember Breaking Walls. That was so cool. And we did that. And when And when we have that community, especially at the summit, that's so easy. And one of the questions that was asked on the sheet, if I'm going too long, stop me.
Yes,
How
we've
do
only
I
got
define
a couple of minutes left, and there's so much that could be said. So
Okay.
let me turn it back to you to kind of think about how you'd like to conclude.
How I would what?
How you would like to conclude.
Oh, I would like to conclude, but the question was, how do I define peace?
Yes.
And thus within Breaking Walls. And we define peace as mutual acceptance and kindness. Because if any of us can accept ourselves and be kind to ourselves, we can reach out to someone else and connect to them with the same empathy. And then that just creates this ripple effect and Pied Piper effect.
Yeah, beautiful. And even though we're kind of out of time, I'd love to hear what the source of your dedication to peace is, Fran.
The source of my dedication is the resilience that I see in the young people that I've worked with since 1972. And all of my classmates, whether I was a teacher or, you know, as a professional educator at the Women's Project as education director, and now as a substitute teacher.
Yes,
These young people, I mean, they carry some stuff.
they do.
And I'm talking to adults and they're like, oh, you know, I got the sniffles. I don't think I can do this. And here are these kids, you know, they've had terrible illnesses. They've been incarcerated. They may have a child at home. There's this being overlooked and unvalidated and threatened and all of that, feeling vulnerable. And it doesn't matter if it's where it is, they're all experiencing, you know, depression,
Yeah.
fear,
Yes.
loss of hope. And yet there they are, they're showing up with a smile. And yeah, I want to validate that. Yeah, I want to show you. Yeah, I want to hold the door open. And when I say I mean breaking walls, we want to hold the door open and ask you, do you trust yourself enough to trust us to go through this door? And
Yes.
I think once you've answered that question, it'll create an environment beyond the door that is safe and healing that people want to join. And I think more people want to be connected than disconnected.
Yes.
Just don't know how to make that happen.
Yes. Well, Fran, clearly you are an exceptional woman doing incredible work in the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you for completing the work to be selected as a finalist for the Exceptional Women of Peace Award. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
You as well.